Righto guys, welcome back to Dustybootz Outdoors. Now today, pretty well on the 200 series, basically the oil pickup in these things is just a plastic oil pickup. And over time gets hot, brittle, I suppose from getting hot all the time, the plastic gets very brittle in them. And there's a little strainer up inside it, and that can actually break down and actually get sucked through the engine, clogging your oil galleries, munching up inside your motor. Obviously not good for your block. So today, pretty well while I'm doing my oil service, I'm going to drop the sump off it, pull this oil strainer out, put a new one in, and we'll chop apart the old oil strainer and check her out and just see what sort of condition it is. So my car now has 270,000 on it. It's a 2008 200 series, obviously chopped, stretched, but yeah, pretty well. Let's check this motor out. So first things first, all we've done so far, drop the bung out. Alright, so we're going to go around that sump now, pull all those bolts out. Now these sumps, the oil drain bung, I suppose, is halfway up the side sort of thing, so you don't actually get all the oil out. Still going to be a portion of oil there. I do jack the car up on an angle so I can try and get that extra oil out when I'm doing it. But they've got two locating lugs, so a nut on them, so that'll help us pull him out. Yeah, they're just siliconed on, no gasket, got the new part. And yeah, let's pull him apart and have a look inside, see how she looks. Cheers. Now remember guys, if there's anything on this channel that can help you out, please like, subscribe, share it with your friends, get our name out there, and yeah, keep hitting that button. Any helpful comments you can throw down there, good or bad. But yeah, I do read them all, do check them all out, but yeah, please guys, get our name out there, hit that button, sub for us, and we'll go from there. Right, we'll put this sump plug back in, just because there is going to be a bit of oil when we try and take this out. And get rid of the little container. Look like 10 mils. They don't feel very tight, these screws. Not quite sure what the torque is, but it gets glued. Basically silicone, there's no gasket for it. I don't know if you can see that, but there's quite a bit of silicone there on the end. I'll leave these two locating lugs, I'll just loosen that. Get around and try to cut this elastic, that'll still catch it. Shouldn't fall. That one was a little bit firm. Maybe just dirt and shit on there. Put some spray on that. There's a bit of mud and shit. Yeah, it was just a bit of shit in the thread. I'll leave that on there. So we've got all those bolts out now, and you'll see, hopefully you can see, just in there. It's a bit hard, a bit blurry. These locating lugs, I'll just leave the nut on. I'm going to cut around this outside edge with a razor blade, and another one over this side, up in there, and I'll leave them on just so it doesn't fall and let that oil go everywhere. I'll cut around him now with a razor blade, see how we go. Not the easiest, I can't really get into it. Not easy at all. Shit gives me eyes. I don't want to bend this sump out of shape. I would really like to cut through it. So they're only a light steel. So I'll keep cutting and playing here and come back to you when we get somewhere. Basically, on the 200 series, it's been brought to my attention that the oil pickup in them is actually a plastic oil pickup, which is crazy, Toyota in their wisdom, but so it's actually a serviceable part, and we've got him here. Apparently, because this gets hot all the time, sitting in your hot oil, and that gets very brittle over time. And there's a little strainer up in this section, and that strainer actually breaks up and can actually go through all your oil journals, that sort of stuff. Can clog them up, but also then your engine's munching that crap up as well. and the strainer's not there doing its job. So today we've dropped the oil out and we're going to pull the sump off. Basically 2 bolts go in this apparently, and she slides straight up into place. We'll just oil that O-ring up into place, and fingers crossed that it all works. And yeah guys, please, if you like any of the content you see on this channel, please like, subscribe, share it with your friends. Send us any comments you can, any little bits and pieces you think we did wrong, or anything we could do better, or any other things you'd like to see. Any little comment helps us boost ourselves up in them algorithms and get us up there. Righto guys, come with me and have a look. Righto, so we've dropped the oil out and we've undone all the little bolts holding our sump in. And I've just left in, there's 2 guide nuts, guide bolts or studs that are hanging out, so they've got a nut on the end, and one on the other side here. So I've just left them hanging there so it'll hold my sump. And there's no gasket on this, it's just all silicone around there. So guys, I had to cut the silicone, and believe me, if don't do this job if you're not committed, it was very difficult to actually get that to break free. You don't want to dent this out of shape, and you don't want to be like chipping away and carving up your alloy block, otherwise you might have leaks and stuff later. But it is all silicone, so it should fill any little grooves, but it's not something you want to be doing. But guys, yeah, I had to be very committed. It took a couple of hours. I went around with the razor blade cutting, then I had to get a scraper, and I basically turned it into a knife. Got a bloody little scraper, cut him and sharpened him up, and got him tapping in. Once I actually got it started, it was quite easy, but getting through there and getting it happening was a nightmare. I don't know if my sump had ever been off before. You know, I bought the car second hand. But yeah, so let's drop this out now and see how clean the inside of our motor is and what we got there. Now guys, these sumps will still hold some oil. Your sump plug is actually just up a little bit on the side, and it's about 800 mil, but I've jacked my car up on an angle and tried to get any extra out that I could, but there will still be oil in there. So be careful, you don't want oil going in your eyes. Let's drop this out. Righto, for the moment of truth, let's see what we've got in here. Silver glue, learn hard to get. Looking alright, I hope. Let's get up in there, I'll get the camera, give us a look. Just have a look up in there. So this motor's done 270 thou. This is the closest to the inside I've ever got to look at it. Feels good. Apparently that there is your oil light sensor. Your low level alarm. Alrighty. Once that drip away, we'll get in, we'll clean all this surface up, sure it's all tidy. And you can see the bits of silicone. So there's no gasket from factory, it's just silicone. Yes, very nice. Alright guys, have a look at this sump, and I actually jacked my car up on an angle, trying to get any extra out. So yeah, there's 800 mils of dirty oil stays in your motor every time you do an oil change. So you never actually get it really all out. Probably again another good reason why you should change it early. I try to do mine every 5 is awesome, but it's probably about 7.5. Bit of a cheapskate. I'm looking for any bits of metal, Any sparkly shit on the bottom of that. Let's see. Oh, I think that looks alright. Pretty happy with that. It's all coming away nice and clean. Righto, so I'm going to clean this up. So guys, I've got him all nice and clean now. I'll still give it a spray with some brake clean and just let it air out by itself. Get any bits of fluff and stuff off. Cleaned all these edges. Now pretty much I want to make sure that there's no goo left in any of them little grooves. I've got all them out and try not to scratch it up. I have scratched mine up basically, but the silicone should fill the gaps. Definitely don't want to be putting grooves in the alloy side of your engine. Like this is replaceable, but the engine's not. And yeah, so I'm going to hit that now. I'm going to make sure it's all still nice and flat and I haven't bent it out of shape. Lay it on a flat bench and just check it. And yeah, then we'll get into it. We'll rip this oil filler off and change it over, the oil pickup. Yeah, pretty much need to clean this surface up, get any of the old Celastic off. We don't want to be scratching this up, so no wire wheels or anything in here. Keep this nice, flat, machined edge. So, got a razor blade, preferably get a brand new one. Well, I had a new one when I was trying to do my sump and I snapped it. So I don't have another razor blade. I've got an old Stanley knife blade. And I'm just going to go around gently cleaning this up. Obviously there's still oil and shit dripping out of the engine. I'm going to let this basically sit overnight. I'm just going to clean this up, give it a wash, and I might even use a bit of brake clean. And it can all drain back out, dry off, and we'll go about changing the oil filter and other bits and pieces around the car. And then we'll reassemble. So you just want to get this all as clean as possible. Scratching him off without cutting into your block. Just rubbing a bit of petrol around here. Basically it's going to evaporate off, it's going to drip down. Can't see any way that any of this is going to be left in the engine. This will just soften up that bit of Celastic that's left there. I am noticing that there's a bit of Celastic around on the actual inside edge. So Celastic. Try and get that out. Alright, so give it all a good clean up. Now let's remove this oil strainer. 10mm. Belt. 2 bolts. They look exactly the same. Apparently, we'll just give this a wiggle. Righto guys, so we've got our new oil pickup. I've bathed you in a bit of oil for that O-ring just so it doesn't damage it going up and in. Let's whack her in there. Slippy, slippy, slippy. Might be handy. There we go. That feels like him. Bolts. 2 bolts. That's it. don't see all that, but she's in. New oil pickup is in. Fingers crossed. Let's see how it all goes, and we'll be good. Righto. Next step. Glue on the sump. Glue her up. I just got a rag, one last wipe. Petrol. Just want to make sure. No reason. I don't want to give this poor old girl any oil leaks. Alright, everything's looking good. Just shit like that. A bit of oil and grease in the corner. Don't worry about it dripping. My silicone. Righto, not touching it no more. Righto guys, so we've got our sump all back on, all gooed in. Now obviously that goo says leave it 24 hours to set properly. Screwed him all up. Around. Looking nice, I'm quite happy with that. I need to check on our torque settings for these. I'm just a bit scared to touch them. I've just nipped them up. I haven't done them too tight at all. They weren't very tight at all to take out, and yeah, I really am tempted just to leave it. Let's see how it is. Righto guys, so we've left the cruiser overnight, basically let that silicone set, so I'll just have a quick check of that and let's top her up with oil. So yeah, new oil filter's in, all sweet, lines are lined up, sump's on, plastic feels dry, put my sump plug in. No reason why we can't fill that with oil. Let's see how we go. I think it's going to pretty well take the 10 litres on this one. I normally have a litre left, but because we've taken the sump off and it held about 800 ml, there's not going to be much left. Righto, that is up to the full mark at the moment, but obviously as soon as I start it, my filter will suck up a heap of oil and we'll splash them around, but we will. It's definitely safe to start. See, make sure we get oil pressure and everything is good. We'll top her up and fingers crossed, job successful. Hey guys, my fuel pump, fuel filter, because we did change the fuel filter yesterday. Just pump that up, make sure it's all hard. Don't want to get any air out of the lines. Make sure that's all good. Alright, let's have a go at starting her. Righto, so we're looking for oil pressure as quick as possible. No weird noises. You'll hear, guys, you'll hear my water watch. I showed you when I was doing my filters. I have a water watch on here. This little red light was supposed to illuminate if you get water in there, but you'll hear that as we go to start up. Oil pressure straight up. Beautiful. Beautiful. All looking good in here. Sound alright. Quite a high oil pressure. Better than normal. Brand new oil cut. I'll shut it down now and I'll just check that oil level again. Alright, quick look around. right. Alright, so now I just recheck my oil, top it up, and she should be good. Get underneath and have a look, there's no drips or anything. Don't want to overfill your oil, guys. Overfill is just as bad as not having enough in it. It builds up there's extra oil pressure. Basically all your seals and stuff like that, oil going where it shouldn't be. Yeah, so there's more pressure, air pressure and shit like that build up in your engine, which affects your seals. I don't know if you can see that now. Basically, we're on like 3/4. Oil level is right about here. Alright, so it's really probably 200 mils to full there. I'll put another splash in. And guys, really, that is enough oil. Like, definitely fine to drive. Yeah, like you have an ad mark. Ad's not empty. You've got no oil lights on. In a cruiser, you even have a warning light when your oil's starting to get low. You know, and it's still safe to drive, but it'll just mean that when you're on an incline or something like that, you might get that light flicker up. Don't overfill your oil. Like really, you should just call it quits there and that's it. Everyone likes to see their oil on the full mark and everything's good, but really it's anywhere between ad and full is fine. You're talking 1 litre oil, motor holds 10. You know, and I don't know what it is, but you know, it's probably like 8 litres or 7 litres before it's not actually sucking it up and you're doing damage to your motor, but no one wants to go there and find that out. Yeah, so just remember that. Don't panic because your oil level's sitting on half or something like that. It's totally fine, it's in normal operating range. You know, it says add, it means it's time to add some oil. You know, and yeah, don't overfill it. Full is full. Righto, so I'll just give him another start up now. You know, it was a tiny bit slow there to start. It didn't have its fuel, didn't have its oil. So yeah, let's just see. This cranks into life like she should. No noises, happy with it all. So righto guys, now we've got the cruiser all back together. We've got our old oil pickup here. We're going to cut her open and have a look on the inside and just check out what that strainer looks like, what the condition was. Car's all up and running fine, everything's going good. But yeah, let's open this up and check it out. I can see that strainer in there and it all looks to be intact. Righto, just knock out a couple of bits of plastic that we put in there. Now, I don't know what you can see in there, but that all looks to be quite fine. It is a little bit brittle. I don't know, I couldn't see that breaking just under normal use. It's pretty clean. It is brittle, the strain is brittle, but then it is only sucking oil through. There's no dirt. So after looking at this, like it definitely is brittle. It's quite easy to break and that, but there's no dirt in it, it's not clogged up. Couldn't see how that would break just with oil going through it, even the way it feels. So I've changed that at 270. Yeah, I don't know. You know, good peace of mind that I have changed it. Was only like a $50, $60 part. So yeah, no, happy it did the job. Got to have a look inside my motor and see how clean it was, and makes me feel a bit more confident about my engine. But yeah, anyway, that's him guys. Let's look on the inside. So they were only broken from me and put my finger through it, but it is quite easy to do. So cheers guys. Just remember, anything that you've seen on this channel, please like, subscribe, share it with your friends, get our name out there. Any questions or queries you got about it, please send us a message. If there's anything I can to help you out, I will do. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Cheers.